Good afternoon, everyone. You can hear me okay? Yeah. Thank you for either skipping lunch or having an early lunch to come and hear me speak. It's lovely to be here at the show. I'm just going to cover a couple of topics, taking an international brand into territories, what we look for in a master franchisor, the role of the master franchisor, and I'll cover a little bit our role in that process as well. So my name is Diane Vesey. I work for Anytime Fitness Corporate in the United States. As you may hear from my accent, I'm Irish, and I'm based here in the UK. So I'm a bit of a nomad traveling all over the place. I work with the master franchisors we have in Europe, so I support them in growing their business. So just to give you a little bit of background on Anytime Fitness, the parent company, which was formed recently, is ESTEEM Brands, and the aim of that company is to improve the self-esteem of the world. So underneath that sits some brands that sit in nicely with that, Anytime Fitness being one of them. Waxing in the City is another new brand we've brought on in the last couple of years, but it's only domestically in the US at the moment. In terms of Anytime Fitness, founded in 2002, so we're a relatively new company based in Minnesota. For any of you that have not been there, it's very, very cold there at the moment. I was there last week. The gym, it's a gym model. It's around 24-hour concept. We started as a convenience model. We're now calling ourselves a coaching model. That's what we're moving more towards. We have over 3,000 clubs globally and almost 3 million members. These are the two guys who started the company, Chuck Runyon and Dave Mortensen. They're pretty cool guys, and they're very involved in the day-to-day running still of the business. We are currently, for the second year in a row, ranked the #1 global franchise in the world, which is a pretty good achievement, as the rankings tend to change a lot of the time. Also, our other brand, Waxing in the City, has gone from number 382 to number 89 in a year in the franchise 500 rankings. So, yeah, they're pretty great achievements we're very proud of. Give you an idea where we are, just you can see on the map there, we're in 28 countries, I believe, right now, growing all the time. We are in 10 countries in Europe. So again, I'll put up at the end some countries that are sort of priorities for us, but obviously we're open to growing and going anywhere. So locations outside, we have 482 clubs open in Australia and New Zealand. We're actually sold out in Australia. We have a brother and sister partnership there, the master franchisors, and they've done an amazing job in the last 4 years. So that's doing very, very well. Asia, we're in a number of countries there, 305 open and growing every day. I started with the company about 5.5 years ago, and we didn't have a club in Europe then, so 199 clubs now. Actually, we opened a couple today, so it'll be well over that target now. This is of December, end of December, and Latin America 48. Just to give you a feel for what the clubs look like, this is some of our clubs in the United States, club in the Netherlands, Spain, so they're all pretty much similar. Some small tweaks here and there, but very similar in how they look. And we actually give each master franchisor a design book to follow so that the clubs do stay consistent throughout the world. Our goal is to be the #1 gym operator in every market in terms of units. And we are monitoring this all the time, and obviously we're growing all the time, opening clubs. On average, we open a club a day in the United States, so we're trying to get to that globally. But every day we are adding on clubs in each of our countries. This gives you an idea where we do rank. In many of the countries we are #1 already in terms of the amount of units and growing. I mean, Mexico, we're still growing hugely there. Singapore, we're only 2 years there, #1 already. And if you look down on the bottom there, Italy and Sweden, they're literally very new master franchisors. In fact, we have one of our Swedish team here today. But in a year, they've opened 3 clubs. So while we're down there on the rankings, it is growing. We're only just there. Our main considerations for the new markets we're in, well, we need to see a potential. Obviously, basically, we want the master franchisor to make some money, and we want to make some money. So there has to be a potential for at least 100 clubs. And we would expect the person that we're talking to know that, or have at least a feel for that. We're happy to work with them, but we want them to know the market. A stable economic and political environment. Again, seems like a given, but after today's events. We don't know what way things are going to happen, but that is what we do look for. Availability of level 1 vendors. What I mean here is we call level 1 vendors things that are critical to the brand. So obviously we're a gym, it needs equipment. We work with 2 of the biggest brands in the world, Precor and Life Fitness. So we would need to check that Life Fitness and Precor are able to supply or distribute in that country. And basically they are global, so there's no problem there. Security, because we're a 24-hour concept, we do have cameras and a security system that we need. So that needs to obviously happen in the country. And billing. Again, the way our concept works, if you like, is that we use a third-party billing company to take membership money from customers and collect our fees and things like that. So we'd need to know that that can work in the banking system in the country that we're going to. Positive legal and franchising conditions. I was just talking to a couple there from South Africa and Ghana, and I was saying, if you do see the big brands, the Subways, the McDonald's there, it's pretty safe to say we can go there, franchising conditions are okay. But if it's a country where there is no franchising law or things like that, we're obviously not as keen because you're not protected and we're not protected. And I think the most important one is the trustworthy partner. We go through a big vetting process. In fact, we say no to more people than we say yes to. So it is a marriage of sorts, so we want to make sure we can get on with you and you can get on with us and that we can work together to grow the brand, get clubs open and have you successful but also franchisees successful. So what we look for in terms of a master franchisor, in fact, as a brand we're quite lucky. A lot of people come looking for us and we've been very lucky to date on that. But we do look for people relevant experience, fitness franchising or a retail business, something that can show us that they have experience. Fitness is not essential. That can be learned, and there's enough of us to help with the fitness part, but we would ask you to hire someone in fitness, but it's not essential for the master themselves. We would like a high degree of passion of our brand. We do get a lot of people coming and they've got 10 million things going on, so it is an intense business and it does need a passion and a commitment to it. It's 24-hour, it's a lot of people, so we do ask for that. And obviously the financial capacity to launch and operate. Again, I'll show that in the role and responsibilities, but we do need to know that you have the money and the cash flow to at least start out the business before you get clubs open. Again, I show the pictures of the clubs. We do, our mantra is to standardize where possible. I said we give out the design book, we give other things to master franchisors to follow. And we don't mind if they need to tweak it, but essentially we do need it to be as we see it in each country. We do have a tagline ourselves, like at the moment in the United States it's get to a healthier place. Some countries do pick up on those, some countries don't. Obviously we have translation issues and things like that, so we work with the master on things that they do need to adapt and approve those. For our responsibility, well, we have a big role to play. Obviously, as I said, it's like a marriage. We do put a lot on the master. We expect you to grow your business in your territory. At the same time, we are there for you. There's an initial training program at our corporate office in the United States. You can bring yourself, your team over to us, and we do training ongoing in that way. There's a designated person to support you. So in the case of Europe, that would be me. And so between Skype calls, meetings, phone calls, and then obviously we do visits to the territory on an ongoing basis as well. Assistance with vendors. So obviously in the United States we have a whole vendor team talking to suppliers every day of the week. So again, on some of the big ones we already have global agreements in place, so that's easy for the master just to fit into that. Other ones we will help you vet and make deals with. We set up the website for each master. All our operations manuals, materials, all of that is for use. All of the marketing material and promotions is all up on a website that the master can access and change it to localize it for themselves. Copies of current franchise agreements and related documents. Obviously, we have a huge amount of documentation in the United States, probably more than any country. All of that can be given to the master, but it will be their responsibility to localize it and make it legal in their country. Every year we produce an FTD, financial disclosure document in the US. Again, it's a huge document, and that gives the master, we do provide that to the master as well. Some countries need it, some countries don't. But again, it shows you the changes that are happening in the brand and what we're sending out to our potential franchisees. one of the great things about Anytime Fitness is that the member accesses the gym using a key fob. And once you're a member in a club here, for example, after 30 days, your key will open any door of any of our clubs globally. So we have a reciprocity there, which is a great advantage, I guess. And we develop the software for that, and we give that to masters once they start to roll out. Again, we do ask that the master opens at least one club in their market, just to understand how it goes, to be able to show people. And of course, in every country we go to, and the masters that I help, everybody realizes the brand is great, it's doing really well, but the question is, how will it do in my country? And that's very understandable. So we want you to open a club, go through that process the franchisee goes through, understand the materials, what it costs, and then obviously be able to show them real-time figures when they come to talking about buying a franchise from you. Finally, just to show some future markets for us, as I said, we're in about 28 countries right now. We are open to any country at the moment is worth considering, but these are ones that we would really like to be in at the moment. Germany is obviously a big one for us. We are in talks on some of these, but at the moment they are not signed, so they're priority for us. And the last slide is just, I guess I just wanted to show that we do have a bit of fun as well. We are a fitness brand. It's quite, it's an exciting brand to be with, and you're also helping people. So that's the fun part. This is a master meeting we had a few months ago where we did a quad bike day. So people come to the States, you get to talk to each other, get to share ideas. As I said, we've got our Swedish masters here and our UK masters at this show. So probably best to talk to them as well if you are interested in it and get their feel for what they think about us. But I'm here as well if you want to ask any questions. And that's it.